Welcome to the Insurance Marketing Brain Dump Podcast. My name is Keagan with BriteBee.com, where we help insurance agents get found online. And I'm here with Chris Paradiso with Paradiso Insurance and Paradiso Presents, where we are helping insurance agents break through the barriers of the digital space. I change that up every time.
That's okay.
All
good.
I'm working on tagline for us.
No tagline.
So
change is great.
I love that. Okay, well, good. Well, first off, I'm always saying this. We're working on our call to actions, and you should work on your call to actions as well. But first, I want you to take action on our call. And so, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Give us a thumbs up.
Or two.
Also, get your friends and your family to give us a thumbs up as well. So send them this link. And then give us a comment and tell us who you are, why you're watching, if this was helpful. If not, tell us. We want to get better. So, brain dump. Let's brainstorm a little bit.
Absolutely.
So we are still at the Dallas Germania workshop.
Feels like we've been here for like a month.
I think we have been here for a month. And it's been phenomenal, and I want to talk about something that we've been kind of harping on this whole time, and it's the term or the phrase content or the theme. Content breaks down barriers.
Can you repeat that? I think you've said it a million times, but
I'm
not sure everybody heard you.
Content breaks down barriers, and one of the things that, and I say this from experience. As a business owner, I owned an agency. I sold that. I had another business, and then we started BriteBee. And starting a business from scratch, as we all know, is difficult.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
I guess that's one way of putting it.
And we always try to...
Challenging?
Yeah. Yeah. Extremely challenging. And one of the things that we all do is we're struggling through, and we're trying to figure out, how are we going to win? How are we going to win? How are we going to win that next customer? And content can be so powerful in doing that. But I think we don't have the right mindset when we do it. So we create content, we don't see that it works, we're not intentional about our content, and then we give up, and then we produce nothing.
I think the key thing you just said is we're not intentional with our content. We have to be so intentional. Just think. 15 years ago, was the internet as busy as it is today? I don't even like to say busy. I like to say it's loud, right? The internet, social media, how loud it is. You really have to be so intentional with your content to get people to see it, like it, right? Comment on it, share it. Why? Because the world is just so loud. The internet world is loud. Social media is just so much content out there and so loud that everybody's screaming for attention, right?
Yeah, and we have to be crazy intentional. I mean, people have to look at us and say, you're nuts. You're nuts for creating that content. And we say, yes, we are. We have to be crazy intentional. If we do not break that barrier of obscurity, I'm using that quite a bit right now. That word obscurity. Actually, I'm not going to coin the phrase here. I actually got that from the book 10X.
He's a thief.
So
guess you're stealing that.
Yeah, I know. But he said something really, really important there, is that the only problem that you have is not that you can't sell. It's not that you can't this, you can't that. It's because you're obscure. People don't know you. They don't. There's not enough people that know you and know who you are. And I think that is so important. So
well, when you say that, think about what Gary Vee's message has been lately. Gary Vee has been pounding the message that anybody can become famous. You don't have to be a great athlete to become famous. All you have to do is tell the world what you do very well. Think about it. How many YouTubers or how many social media celebrities are out there who really are doing I'm just thinking of my kids. I can't think of the name of these two kids that they watch on YouTube, but they have millions and millions and millions and millions of views. They go and hide in Walmart, and they video this. So when Walmart closes, they're hiding behind toilet paper. My kids think it's freaking funny.
Yeah.
I'm like...
And everyone listening is like, this is the most idiotic thing.
And it's not my only kids. They have millions of... They're getting paid on YouTube.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's crazy. But you got to tell your story.
Yeah. So I want to give an example of creating content that breaks down barriers. when we first started BriteBee, we were trying to reach agents, and we started in Oklahoma City, and I was like, okay, well, if
Where's
I
that?
can't, where the cows roam. So it's a little bit better than that. So we said, well, okay, if we don't start in Oklahoma City, try to reach agents, I mean, how can we do it anywhere else? So, of course, we did like any other insurance, right? We went door knocking. I mean, we literally went door to door to these
Did you
insurance.
really?
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. I was so uncomfortable. I hate door knocking. And I was an insurance agent before.
The year to get comfortable being
Right.
uncomfortable.
I was an insurance agent before, so I had my gatekeepers. And, people would come in all the time trying to sell something or whatever. And of course, my ladies knew what to say. We can schedule time, but we're, whatever. And
Door to door.
yeah, door to door. And so
Did you bring knives with you so you could sell those just in case they didn't make an
Dude,
appointment with you?
it was hard.
Yeah. I'm
Oh,
sure.
it was hard. And it's extremely uncomfortable.
I think there's an
I was probably
agent-
shaking.
Troy Thompson, I believe, is going door to door. And he's done it with some video. What I think is phenomenal is that he's actually taking his children with him to go door to door and knock on.
Well, there's nothing better than exploiting your children and using it as a
Hey,
as a way to
I'm
get
just
in.
saying.
I'm telling you.
I'm watching that video, and I'm telling you, that guy's got guts. I love it. He's
Yeah.
going to succeed. What is he teaching his kids? He's teaching his kids, no matter what you do, go for it.
Honestly, I think my 6-year-old son could sell BriteBee better. Seriously. I
So
mean, people
Troy,
would
keep up the good work, brother.
That's right. So we're doing that, and we go, okay, we've got to be able to break through. We're going to the gatekeeper. It's taking too long. What do we do? And I had this genius idea well, let's just start a podcast. And they're like, what the heck? We don't have any more time for that. And I said, okay, well, I don't know. We've got to do it. And what we're going to do is we're going to reach out, and we're going to talk to agents and get to know them. Why would they not want to talk to us? And then we put it out. We put it out for everyone else to know and hear. And it was amazing because that content actually changed the way we did everything and the way we thought.
Yeah.
Now, was it the best growth strategy out there? No, because I did like 40-something podcasts in like a month and a half, and I almost died doing it. But right there, it changed everything for us because we started seeing what we could do and how we could break down barriers, how we could get past that barrier that we were in front of.
I think there's other great experiences out there that you can look at, such as, look at the evolution of Ryan Hanley, who's no longer in our industry. I think his content, he's really taken his content to a whole new level. And he was the guy that said content is king long before the world said content is king. And I think his content has not only gotten better, I think I read more of it because his visual strategy has even gotten better.
Mm-hmm. He's extremely creative.
Yeah, but, I challenge agents to say, go out and look at his content, watch his content, look at his visual strategy. Let me tell you something. He's intentional, and he's doing a great job. Even though he's not in the insurance space and was in the insurance space, I'm telling you, there's a lot to learn from watching his, not only reading his content, watching his actual visual strategy.
Yeah. No, I agree.
There's others out there. You want to talk about a great video strategy, Carlos Vargas. Of Vargas and Vargas out of Boston.
Yep.
I mean, the guy's on like 528 days in a row on video. And the key thing is...
Always in the same place, too. Is he always in the same place?
No, sometimes he's out, no.
Because I feel like he's always in the same place, which is not bad. But I'm just like,
no.
How can you always be in this?
Not only that, if you really look at how good his content is, I don't care what anybody says. The guy's got to be spending an hour and a half preparation and preparing for the next day. I could be wrong, then he's got me fooled, but his content is really good. He's very intentional. He's very specific. There's meaning behind everything, and you kind of get hooked. Great job, Carlos.
We'll put that in the description below if you want to learn a little bit more. So back to this thought of content breaks down barriers. I have a kind of a system, and I am not coining it my system at all. I stole it from someone. I don't know. It's old probably, but I think there's a way to look at your barrier and how you create content, and then move on from there, and how do you create more content from the content that you have. And I think that's extremely important to understand, because a lot of the times we think, well, I've got to create so much content every single day, and it's got to be original, blah, 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 blah. And you can create one good piece of content and repurpose it in so many different channels.
That is the truth.
And that right there was
that's the brain dump.
Yeah, and Gary
repurpose.
And Gary Vee has said that too. So I've stolen it from lots of people.
Thief.
I know. There's nothing new under the sun. But if you look at this, if you look at your barrier and you identify your barrier, then you can understand what type of content you're going to create. At that point, what I want to do and what I always look at is, okay, so if we create this type of content, how can we use this in social platforms? How can we use it on Twitter? And, every platform is different. So you have to know your platform. You have to know what type of information consumers on that platform or your followers are consuming. And they consume it differently on each platform.
The barriers are so different on every platform, from Facebook to LinkedIn, right? LinkedIn is a B2B. We all know that. Well, what barrier do you have right there? Well, you have to be very purposeful to make sure that you are not posting. We go out and get a beer, and we're drinking it, slugging down a beer, and we're taking a picture in a bar with a bunch of people just drinking. I mean, people on LinkedIn don't care if you're at a bar drinking a brew. Everybody there is business to business, right? Just being intentional and understanding the audience, right? The barrier, I believe, is first and foremost, you got to understand who's actually intrigued by you, who's looking at you, who's watching you, who's commenting on you, who's sharing your content.
Right.
Understand your audience. Are they females? Are they 30s? Are they 40s? Are they 50s? Are they males? Are they married? Understanding your audience. That's barrier number one. Most people don't understand their audience.
Yeah. And then after that, it's looking at paid. Okay, can I utilize this content in any kind of paid form or fashion? It doesn't mean that you have to do any paid at all. You can grow completely organically if you wanted to. But I always want to look and say, okay, well, is there an opportunity here? If I can get organic exposure, is there an opportunity in the paid? And there may or there may not be, or you may not feel comfortable doing paid, and that's fine. But even $5 a day, if you wanted to consider boosting on Facebook, or if you wanted to
create an ad campaign.
Yeah, or do on YouTube. YouTube is extremely cost-effective right now, YouTube ads.
That'll change over time.
It will.
And not in a long time. It's going to change sooner than we think.
It probably will. But the next is looking at influencers. So we've got social. Okay, how are we going to use this social? Can we do any kind of paid? And this doesn't mean just paid in social. It could be paid traditional.
Sure.
There's lots of different ways you could do that. And then the other one is influence. Is there someone that I can put this content in their hands and they can be an influencer? They can be sharing this with other people. And I think we all know people that would do that for us. We just don't ask.
Isn't that the common theme yesterday? We were just talking with a couple agents, and they were talking about marketing person, a full-time marketing person, part-time, just talking about all the dollars and cents. And I said to one of them agents, I said, "How big are you with this specific carrier?" And she says, "Oh, I'm big. We have a big book of business. We're in the millions with them." And I said, "Do you get any marketing dollars?" "Never." So I asked her, I said, "Have you ever asked?" "I'm not that type to ask." I'm like, "Sweetheart, you need to ask. If you don't ask, you don't get."
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
If you don't tell Santa what you need or what you want, you're not going to get it.
Right.
So asking is key. Just ask.
You don't even know how there are carriers out there who are willing to help the agent.
Absolutely. Do you know how many? I was speaking with a carrier recently. I'm going to be speaking at their annual event, and I asked them a specific question before we got on and talking about business. I said, "Hey, how much marketing dollars is left behind that agents aren't using?" The lady says, "Let me just tell you, every year it's in the millions, and every year we shrink the marketing budget." This is a national carrier. We shrink the marketing budget. That marketing budget is the money that we give to agents who want to do community-based marketing, or we co-brand on technology with them, or ads on TV or billboards, all forms of marketing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I only wish they would use this money because we feel that it's that important to our brand that we are co-branding with the foot soldiers, the people that are on the streets pounding the pavement, meaning us, independent agents.
Yeah. Well, I think about conversation that we recently had about a sales agent. And I say sales agent. That's not the right word. A sales manager, more so. We all have them, right? As the carrier, they allocate a sales manager or
They do.
something. And when they ask, how are you doing? What can I do for you? You should be asking, like, do you have any other
Do you have any marketing dollars?
co-oping? Do you have any opportunities?
Do you have any marketing?
All right. Well, we are back. Our power just went out unexpectedly, and
Sorry
so,
about that,
yeah,
folks.
we're back here. So, with that being said, we were talking about the carriers and taking opportunity, making sure that you ask if there's any opportunities, if there's any co-oping dollars, if there's whatever. I mean, ask for it.
What's the brain dump? Just ask.
Ask. So we went through the influencer. And now, after that, the question is this authoritative? From putting it on social, from putting it onto the channels, from doing paid, from giving it to an influencer, can we get to the authoritative piece, content? Can it be authoritative? What do you think?
Why not? Why can't it?
Right.
How do we get there? It's a different story.
Right.
How do we get to the authority? We're getting to the authority how? Putting out good content, being purposeful with our content, creating it the right image, right? Being and getting to that authoritative state is really, I'd say 50% of it comes from your brand. And it might even be more than that. I wholeheartedly think that the brand plays the largest ingredients of becoming an authoritative.
Yeah. Well,
what do you think?
I think it's true. I think consistency. It's not about putting out one piece of content and then doing this, looking at social paid, influencing, all of that, and then leaving it. It's about creating more and more content. And people, it's amazing the people that I talk to, and sometimes I think that my content isn't effective. I mean, I think we all have that, right?
Sure.
Because we believe effective means more views, more likes.
That's just the way we're programmed. That's the way social media is programmed us because that's what they put in front of us.
Right.
But that is not true.
And we think of more subscribers and all this stuff, but what I was even talking to someone yesterday. Okay. It's not about all the subscribers. If you have 200 subscribers that are your key market and you're putting out the right content, you may not have to have any more.
You're right. And I think the key is, can you move people, right? Can you move people with your content? And I think the biggest key that I think you were saying is, on the content you're creating, you need to rinse and repeat your message. And I always go back, obviously this is for insurance agents, right? Go back to Geico. They rinse and repeat their message almost like ding dong. It's just the same thing. It's 15 is going to save you 15 on every single message.
Mm-hmm.
Every ad, every billboard, every TV ad, every radio ad. 15 is going to save you 15. They never alter their message. They rinse and repeat daily on all aspects. And another interesting snippet of this is think about where they rinse and repeat their message. You know how we were talking about, and we had the question yesterday, hey, what social platform is the best platform to put our content on? Well, first we have to know and understand who our audience is.
Right.
Number two, and you and I have a totally different strategy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I actually say, and I don't like being average at anything,
Mm-hmm.
I would rather be average on 5 social platforms than to be superstar on one. I'm not saying that's right for everybody
Mm-hmm.
because Gary Vee might disagree. I know Ryan Hanley would disagree, and that's okay. He does superbly on certain platforms that he really focuses, he really gets comfortable with. And my philosophy is different. I don't think there's a right, you're not wrong, and I'm not right. You have to pick, right? You have to pick the strategy. Where do you want to do? Where is your comfort zone,
Mhm.
right? And then you have to rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. If you don't rinse and repeat, people don't remember. People don't get the message.
Right.
Because the world is so fast and it's so loud. If you don't rinse and repeat, it goes right over their head.
You know what piece of content that I had no clue how it would perform, but it accomplished what I was trying to accomplish, was my hair video. Yeah, I'm working on growing back my hair.
Is that Rogaine?
No. I use it's called iRestore. I am now a sponsor.
You should be
by
a sponsor.
iRestore.
You create a video
I
almost
actually
daily.
did. I created the video, and they started sending me stuff. They were like, "Hey, do you want some more gummies?" I was like, "Yes, I need some more gummies for my hair."
How's it working out?
It's going pretty good. I think I've been a little stressed lately, and I haven't done it as much. And I'm getting a little. Yeah, I'm struggling a little bit. I haven't had very good hair days the last
We
couple
still
days.
love you.
Yeah, and I forgot my hairspray. And so I had to use something else.
Hey, where I come from, us Italians, we use gel.
Yeah, no, I can't use gel.
Some call it grease, but it's okay.
I'm using some gel right now, and it just a side note here. When you have thin hair, like thinner hair, it clumps all together, and then it makes you look much more bald. I mean, and nothing bad towards bald people. That's just not where I'm at right now.
I get it.
I'm just not there. So, moving back from the side note here, that piece of content I did when I was at the Global Insurance Accelerator, and honestly, it was that time I just moved my family there to a small little hotel, and I was like, you know what, we got lots of life changes right now. We got the GIA that's going to take 3 months, and we're in the coldest weather we've ever been in. I'm growing back my hair. Like, it's life changes all around. And I said, I'm just going to document it. And when I started documenting, it was crazy. I was sitting in front of a carrier, and we're sitting there, and one of the first questions was, "Hey, how's that hair thing going?" And let me tell you,
That broke barriers.
the barriers gone. I was human.
Yeah,
at
but
that
you
point.
also said that one of the biggest barrier was you weren't comfortable with yourself balding, so you just put it out there. So you got comfortable being very uncomfortable on that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you've openly admitted that to me.
Yeah, no, and you know what? It's an amazing talking point. It's amazing the people that come up and say, like, "Hey, how's that hair thing going?" And though a lot of people would be ashamed or whatever, I thought, you know what? It's a great talking point for people, and it's something I can relate with people on. And
I get it.
yeah,
Just put it out there.
and that's what we have to do.
Can we just quickly go back over the steps as
Yeah.
you have it in front of you?
Definitely.
So
So
we can just-
you've got to identify your barrier. So identify your barrier, and then you can understand what type of content you're going to create. And when you do that, you want to then go through the process of, okay, how can I create more content from this same piece of content? You know, there's nothing more frustrating for us when we're getting started out when we think that we have got to produce original content every single day or every few days, and you're just getting started and you're like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? How can I do this? You don't have a habit set. But if you'll set the habit of saying, okay, every piece of content that I create, I should be able to repurpose it in many different ways. And so if you look at the barrier, you create the content, and then you look at, okay, how can I use it socially? How many ways can I create content from this piece of content? So it doesn't take you almost any more effort to
Absolutely.
do. And then you look at paid. Okay, is there an opportunity for paid? Is there opportunity for paid ads? Is there opportunity traditionally? There could be many different things there. Then we look at influence. Do we have influencers who are willing to share this content? And that could be by word of mouth. That could be by a podcast. That could be whatever it may be. Everyone has their own channels, and I think there's unlimited channels for this. But
I agree.
But, creating content, Insurance Journal. We were on Insurance Journal recently, and it was just because of us. We created content that we shared verbally, and they took it on. It was just our story. That was all it was.
Beautiful thing.
And so looking at that, and then we look and we say, okay, does this help us become authoritative? And I believe that after you do this and you consistently do it, yes, it will help you become authoritative.
As long as you're putting the right content out.
Correct. And if you're not, you'll start knowing because the conversations that you have will not change.
Absolutely.
So that's a process. There's so many other processes out there, but I just try to be simple. I'm a pretty simple guy, and I just want things to be easy, honestly. You know, I'm okay. I've got enough hard things in my life. Like, if we can make this easy.
So what's the brain dump?
Content breaks down barriers.
Brain dump.
It's a brain dump.